Hey, yo, 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 what's up? Hello. Can everybody hear me loud and clear in the back? Awesome, awesome. Welcome to the Music Industry Masterclass. Shout out to the Push for putting this on. And I hope you guys have a great time today. I'm your host for today. My name is Samir. I work at the Sin radio studio at RMIT. I am the executive producer for the hip hop show. Who likes hip hop? Come on, guys. Given the current climate of those things, come on. Are they like us? Come on, nobody got the reference? Damn. Anyways, well, before we start, I would like to acknowledge the soil and land upon which we've been blessed to host this event. To the Woiwurrung and the Wurundjeri people and the Kulin nations, this is an essential part. Music has been such a pivotal role of the culture of First Nations people, and I think we really need to appreciate that as well. But without further ado, I would like to call out the panelists. Come on out, guys. Molly Jackson, Cam Noble, and Sarah Gladys. Woo! Yeah, go for it. These are some key industry people, guys, so just listen. And I think at the end of the day, you're going to take out so much information from whatever we chat about. It's going to be an amazing time. Quickly, I just want to go through around the room, and can each of you quickly just share a story that tells us how you got to the position you're at right now?
Who wants to start? Oh, I don't know. Whose mic's working?
Yours.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sarah Gladys. I have been working at Triple J Unearthed as the Australian music producer for almost 2 years now. I don't know, my way into the industry was not linear whatsoever. I went through a huge identity crisis, post high school, kind of shifted around from degree to degree, and finally, finished at RMIT doing professional communications, which is a really vague degree, just letting you know. It's just blanket journalism, really, and media studies. And then I was, throughout that whole entire period, I was also volunteering at Sin Radio, where Samir is currently a presenter. I love it there. And kind of found my way into the other community radio stations here in Melbourne, and did a lot of cold emailing, just presenters and bookers, and asking them if they need any extra help and if I can commit a couple hours a week. It was a bit of that. So I think the lesson that I've learnt now is the concerted effort that I had in reaching out to people paid off, and taking your time while you figure out. Can you swear here? Can you swear? While you figure out your SHIT out. That's all I want to say.
I don't want to make no promises that I can't keep. So.
Okay.
But yeah. I'm going to pass it over to you, Cam, if you have any thoughts.
Hey. Well, I guess my intro into the music industry was quite early when I was a kid. I was signed to a record label when I was 7 as a country music artist.
Whoa.
With my little brothers. Ooh. And it was the most cringe thing ever. But since then, just used that to move on and become a producer, and I've toured a lot with artists as a pianist, and now I'm doing what I'm doing. So yeah.
Awesome. And Molly, on to you.
Hello, everyone. Oh, is this on? Yeah. Yep. Hello. My name's Mol. Like Sarah, I didn't have a really linear entry into music. I actually grew up playing flute and just denied the idea that I would ever pursue music. So I started studying something different. I wanted to be a journalist, I thought. Hated it. Dropped out of uni. And then I thought maybe I'll be a music teacher. And it wasn't until I was studying a Bachelor of Music at QUT in Brisbane that I realised how many industry jobs there are in music. I was just so naive. I really thought my only career option was to be a classical flautist in an orchestra. But during uni, I did a lot of volunteer radio work at 4ZZZ in Brisbane. Lots of graveyard shifts, 2 till 6 a.m. I was presenting. And it was when I was first in uni that GyroStream, this new distributor, visited us and did a little masterclass. So that was when I first heard about gyro. And then after my degree, I actually took a gap year or two, came back from overseas in the middle of COVID. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I'm out of the game before I've even started. How do I get in here? So I emailed Gyro again and picked up an internship with them in PR. I was working in sales. I was doing my graveyard shifts again. And then all of a sudden, everything just fell into line with me. I actually applied for Sarah's job.
Oh,
And when that job was open and I didn't get it, but it opened up communication with Triple J Unearthed.
definitely.
Yeah.
And now she's one of the presenters on our show Tops.
Yeah, so I present Tops on Unearthed, and I got a job at GyroStream in the distribution field. And then 3 months later, another opportunity opened up in Gyro, and I now do A&R and streaming partnerships and pitch to Spotify and Apple and all of the DSPs each week to try and get our sort of priority artists and strongest songs in those playlists. So I'm having a great time.
Can we please get a round of applause for these guys? These are some impressive feats, and these are some key positions in the music industry. And from my role as a community radio presenter, I can't even explain how important your experience and knowledge will be for the people sitting here today. So without any further ado, I sort of want to get into the nitty-gritties. What we're here for, the Music Industry Masterclass. Releasing your music. I want to briefly discuss, I think I'll sort of direct this to Cam, and I want to discuss this since you have such a large artist roster at your Axe Music Agency. What are the structures of releasing your music? What are the rollout strategies that you're implementing? Talk to me a little bit about that.
Ooh, good question. I guess the biggest thing that I look at with our artists, so we service quite a few artists across Australia, New Zealand, and globally, either on label, in distribution admin or publishing, or in management. Depending on where they are in their career will kind of factor how that release strategy kind of looks. But at the end of the day, the biggest thing that I look at when you're going to release your music is understanding who the audience is that you're trying to hit. What a lot of people do is they make music that they love, and them and their mates are making it, and then they go to release it, but they have no clue who the end listener is meant to be. So then when they release the song and there isn't as many streams as I'd hope, you have to kind of look back and ask yourself, who were you trying to hit in the first place? So with us, we're very involved in the creation of the music. We've got studios and producers that work for us, so that we have a very hands-on approach to the music that gets released from us. Just because we can give a bit more of that insight of, cool, if you're trying to hit a audience in just Australia, then we kind of have to understand what Australians are listening to right now and how we can kind of tailor our music to be in those same fields. Because if we're trying to compete with, I don't know, the likes of anyone, Guy Sebastian, for example, then we have to be making music and understanding what those audiences are looking for and then kind of creating it that way. Once we've got that music, then it's about making sure we can market it to those crowds, because the way that, an example, Keenan T is from Melbourne. He's one of our main artists, but he's a very TikTok kind of artist. So his promo strategy that we do with that is a whole lot of teasing a bunch of music, knowing that we've already got a few songs loaded in the back end, and then kind of reacting to what performs well on socials. So when something does really well on socials, we might move that song ahead and bring that one first, because that's where the attention is going. But then we've got another artist, William Singe, for example, who's not big on TikTok, and his audience is mostly overseas in the States, and it's a very Facebook and YouTube dominated audience. So our rollout strategies for that is completely different. We drop music videos a couple of days before the song comes out, and then we've got multiple translation videos for all the different countries, and that's understanding that his audience is very spread out across the globe, so we make sure that we've got assets that appeal to those audiences.
Catering to those diverse audiences.
So, yeah.
Awesome. In general, what are your guys' thoughts on, or how has your perspective changed on artists releasing music in today's generation?
Do you mean in terms of TikTok and just the
Yeah,
different promotions?
with the
now?
emergence of actually, I would, in my words, I would say dominance of social media marketing in such an era. How do you think it's changed your perspective on how people market to you? So let's say somebody's wanting to apply to or send their music to Triple J, or somebody wants to come on for radio opportunities. How is it presented to you, and how has it changed over the few years?
My situation's a little bit unique because I don't know if you've heard of Triple J on Earth. It's totally chill if you haven't. So I'm just gonna give you the basics of what it is. It's a platform. We're a part of the ABC, but we don't like telling people that we're a part of the ABC because it's kind of daggy. And anyone in Australia, or if you're either like an Australian permanent resident, or you've been residing here, or if you're Australian and you've moved overseas, you can upload your song. It just has to be an original song. So you or someone else in the country, well, as many people if you want in the country could have written that song, recorded it, and you can upload it. And someone in the team listens to the song. It's only 5 of us, but we do listen to it. And if it's really good, if we really enjoy it, we'll put it on the radio. Lots of ums. I'm so sorry. You're gonna get a lot of those tonight. And so it hasn't really changed. We've got this like real structure, and it's also like a platform that does not exist anywhere in the world. They tried it in Canada for a bit, and it flopped. As in, like Canada tried it, not us. So like, yeah, there's a benefit to having Triple J Unearthed. I will say it's not for everyone. I've got lots of really, really great mates who are very successful musicians touring the US, and they've never uploaded to Unearthed. So there's like a bit of a, like, don't use everything that someone says as a rule of thumb.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I say lots of contradictory things.
Nah, dude. Triple J, the Unearthed platform especially, was such a key role for finding like local talent, and I think if you ignore that, that's respectfully foolish. Because as a community radio person and who's executive producing a show, there's so much music out there, and with streaming platforms especially, it makes it so much more different. Molly, did you have anything to add?
Yeah, I do actually. I've only been at Gyro for under 2 years, but came from the community radio background as well. I would say I haven't seen things change necessarily, but my advice would be not everyone has to do all of the things that are open to you. So like Cam was saying before, Keenan T, aligns with that TikTok community and putting out his music that way, and that sort of social promotion strategy really works for him. But I look after so many different diverse artists all around Australia. We're pitching them to DSPs each week, and you certainly don't have to have a viral TikTok sound or huge success on Instagram to, be eligible for those opportunities or for those streaming platforms to want to listen to your songs. So I think it's really important that even though social media has really changed and there is so much, benefit to leaning into some of those opportunities, if your skill set is in a different area, there's still so much that you can do, and maybe you just want to identify how that can work for you.
Awesome. Can you sort of touch on what GyroStream is?
Yes.
I feel like that's also essential for them to understand.
Yes, let me rewind. Gyro stands for Get Your Record Out. So we're a distributor based in Brisbane. We've been there for 6 years this year. And so the distributor's role is to be the middleman. And I didn't realise until I started at Gyro, not having any music of my own out there, that you actually have to go through someone. You can't just make a Spotify account and upload directly to the back end of the platform. So as a distributor, you upload to us. We check all of your music out, just make sure that those platforms aren't going to reject it. So we're checking for pirating and copyright issues, but also just that your artwork and your sound file is in line with what's required of you. And then we just upload it for you at your release date so that it goes live everywhere that you want it to. So that's the bread and butter of Gyro. We distribute the music to streaming platforms, but there's some other arms as well. So the streaming partnerships and A&R side, which is what I look after. We have a PR side as well if you're needing some PR or marketing help. We now have a publishing admin side as well. So yeah, Gyro's just grown into a bigger beast than they ever thought it would. But yeah, the bread and butter is getting your songs out there.
Awesome, dude. That's so cool. Seeing one sort of organization handle all the different facets that go into the process of releasing singles, albums, EPs. That's really cool that there's an organization that can help you. But Who should artists really be looking out for? Who do you think they should be sending their music to or approaching?
Depends what you're looking for. With a lot of artists, depending on where they are in their career, it all depends on where they are in their career. For some people, they do need management to help kind of guide where their music goes. Like we see quite a lot of music that comes through from artists that, like, immediately from when I hear it, I'm like, oh, if you had a team around you, this could probably be pretty strong. Which goes to show that like the music is not all of what's needed. Like you need all the other pieces of the puzzle. For heaps of other artists that do have, just have all their visuals on point, have all their marketing on point, maybe it's getting the right distributor to help get that last little piece out and show the platforms all of the marketing that you've got behind your songs. And then there are other artists that do need labels. Even with myself, I've got 2 labels, and we've got some really strong performing artists, but I still have a couple of artists that I manage that are signed to some of the biggest labels in the world, because for them, those labels make sense. So it's depending on what artists need, that's kind of what they should be looking for in terms of like press and PR and stuff. There was a time when we were sending music to like everyone. Like we'd make our own little press kits and stuff, and they were pretty like tacky like back then. Especially like today, there are so many websites that can help you make really clean things like Disco or what's that one like Bandzoogle or something, that help you present the music to the tastemakers that you're trying to put it in front of. When I had a record label when I was at high school in New Zealand, we used to get my mum to drop us off at the bus to go up to Auckland, and then we'd be trying to pitch our music into Kmart and stuff like that, because that's before Spotify. So doing that, like looking back at what we kind of had to do back then to now, it is so much easier. But I think because it's so easy, people just don't do it. Like I know a lot of artists that are very active in sending their music out, but for majority of people, like all you have to do is just send it to just a few people, and that could be life-changing. And like I've seen it so many times.
And can I? Oh, you go, Sarah.
No, you go.
I was just going to say, in terms of like, is working out what you need, like Cam was saying. But if you were just starting out, the actual fact of what you need, I guess, is you need a distributor or a label to put your music on the platforms, which is a really, low cost sort of relationship that you can build. I think you can do so much of it DIY when you're starting out as well. Like obviously you need some cover artwork, so whether you have a graphic designer friend or you're getting someone to take your press pics for you, you can do that yourself. You can get your social media rolling. You can hit up some local bands that you like that you might want to support and try and build those relationships in the community. And I think once it sort of like reaches that ceiling that you've done everything that you can do on your own, that's when you can start to reach out to other sort of organisations or industry folk and discuss whether you might want PR or a manager or a booking agent. But that can all come a bit later as well, I think.
I completely agree with you, Molly. I was going to say that what I always recommend is looking around at your local artists who you really, really love. If it's visuals or if it's their music that you really love, and just kind of like, not stalk them, but like follow them for a little while. See what they're doing. And I'm not saying copy everything they do, but just keep an eye out at the venues they're playing at regularly. Have a, critically analyze why they're playing there. If you have similar music, maybe you will find an audience at that same venue. I'm trying to think of other examples like that. Like if you notice that a specific way that they're kind of talking about how they release their music online, like on Instagram, if they're like teasing it a little bit, just kind of like, I'm going to say it again, don't carbon copy what they're doing, but just kind of take it on as research and kind of decide what you want to do. I think you can do it on your own for quite a while before you need to reach out to anyone else. And then you can go to like an aggregator like GyroStream to put out your music, or just chuck it on Bandcamp. I'm sorry, but you can just chuck it on Bandcamp.
True.
It's
Bandcamp
for free.
Fridays, people. Bandcamp Fridays.
Yeah, Bandcamp's cheap or free. I don't even know anymore. And you just email community radio stations, but not even just like the station. Find the presenter who you like. Find their SIN email. Find their RRR, PBS, 4ZZZ. I never know how to say that one. The Brisbane radio station. What did you say? Sorry. Fours. It's so confusing. I should be more embarrassed, but I'm not. And then contact them. Give them a little blurb. Just say, hey, here's a little Dropbox of my song, or here it is on the stream. Here's a link to my streaming. The streaming. Oh my God, what am I trying to say? Streaming platform. Here's my song. Would love it if you could just play it, give it a shout out. It's about X, Y, Z. Thanks. Bye bye. That's it. Start with that. See how it goes, and then kind of reassess. If it's not working, you've got to ask yourself the questions why. That was a bit. I was just blabbing then. Wow.
That was all relevant. And
I'm also going to move back so other people can see. There we go.
Touching on what you did say, just reaching out. And I think Cam made a point that I also was really interested in, because I'm having to filter through, since I work at community radio, I have to filter through a lot of artists reaching out, and they send us EPKs, electronic press kits, which is something I really did want to touch on, especially how important it is in the way you present them, and providing one sheets, making the graphic design look good. And a great example I have is, I don't know if you guys might be familiar, but Here for Good Agency, they present their newsletters so I don't know, creatively, artistically, it makes you want to see okay, what are they presenting? So can any of you touch on that?
I guess for me, I've always worked with artists where we're trying to release music and get music in front of people that are kind of just almost worlds away. So for that, we've always kind of, more recent years, made sure that we go really hard on presenting some really nice press kits. I know from me personally, if you send me a Google Drive link, I'm probably not going to open it because it just doesn't play straight away. Dropbox link, you're pushing it. That's why, at the very easiest, if you're trying to send a song to someone, chuck it on YouTube in an unlisted thing so that when they open it, they can play it straight away.
Like a private YouTube link.
Yeah, and even on that, you can put some information in there, or you can just make it on Canva. Most people I've seen now doing press kits are doing it on Canva. They can load the audio in, they can have a nice picture of themselves, a really quick bio about who they are and what that song's about. Because end of the day, the people that you're sending music to, especially, I'm assuming, especially with radio, is that they're getting a lot of submissions. And I know how I work is that if it looks cool, I'm probably going to open it and look at it. And if it doesn't look cool, I probably won't open it. So make it look cool.
Make it look cool, people. Just add distortion everywhere. Make it look like Blade Runner.
Personally, so when we listen to songs at Triple J Unearthed, on the back end of the website, we can just see the song, the artist or band name and the song title. So I actually cannot see anything about you unless I know the act already. And that's just because we want to be bureaucratic and make sure that we're really balancing and weighing our decisions based on the music rather than anything else. But when people email me, they'll send me a press kit. Does everyone know what a press kit is? Just making sure. Okay, I'm seeing some yes and no's. Should we just explain it together? It's essentially I don't know why they use fancy words for it. It's essentially just one sheet with sometimes some visuals. One sheet's kind of an A4 page, like a PDF document type vibe. And it explains who you are, the who, what, when, where, whys, who this artist is, what's this new single they're releasing, what date it's coming out, what date it's going to be on streaming services. What's it about? Is there a story behind it? Is there a story behind the artist? It's going into that kind of stuff without going into a thesis. Don't go too deep. Light and fluffy. From a personal perspective, I present a couple of shows. So I will, when I've programmed, I'm using technical words, when I have decided to use a certain song from Unearthed or Triple J in general or Double J, I will search my emails for the press kit and be and I'll just kind of copy and paste what they've written and what I enjoy about the song myself and what I want to talk about and what the press kit says. If you tell me a really amazing story, I will say it on air. And yeah.
And don't forget your social media links in there.
Yeah,
too. Really
thank you. I was just babbling again. Did you guys get that? I don't know.
Can we get a show of hands of everyone if they feel comfortable understanding what the press kit is?
Yeah, cool.
Awesome.
I
Great,
feel like,
great.
how can people find them online? I'm just trying to think of, like, you'd probably want to see examples. There's lots of templates. Also, like, ask a local band if it's in your a press kit.
I search press kits. I'll just go on Google and like just think of an artist that's not like Justin Bieber level but pretty big, and then write their name in a press kit. Most of the times you'll find one just sitting on the internet, and then we just copy it.
Hey, if it works, don't.
There you go, hook us.
Also, I'm sorry I'm looking at my phone, but I'm getting some really good questions from the audience as well. So I've been wanting to touch on these as well. So I think the first one I want to actually talk about in conjunction to what we just discussed. So how this comes from Lizzie, and they're asking how to find out your target audience and who would like your original music.
I think it almost goes with what Sarah was saying before in looking at artists that you like and that you might, feel like you're a bit similar to, and look at who they're targeting. I guess it can be tricky to work out the target audience, but I think it also comes down to whether you have a story on what your background is and who you've been, networking is the wrong word, who you've been like surrounding yourself with in the industry, who you think might like your music. And to go back to the press kit, actually, there's a really impressive artist. She's from Melbourne. I wonder if I should shout her out. She's not here tonight, but her name is Vigilantony. And she was applying for playlist pitching at GyroStream and included a press kit. And we don't actually usually receive press kits ourselves. And I opened up this amazing colourful press kit, which obviously I loved. I love colour. And it had her target audience written there, who she wanted to target, the genres she likes, the demographics she likes, who she thought might like her music. And it actually really helped us in, one, resonating it with it and seeing where she thought it could go and therefore where we thought we could support it in going. And it also sort of helps in targeting your marketing, targeting your playlist pitching, helping sort of direct all of those different things.
Awesome. Does anybody else want to pitch into that?
Hello, Megan. Also, like, Lizzie, where did that question come from? Because I didn't hear you say it out loud. And what's going on with the phone?
We know about it.
So let me clear that up. Basically, there's if you look there on the poster.
That is wild.
Yeah, so they're scanning the QR code and typing in their messages anonymously or revealing who they are, and I'm getting them,
That's
like
crazy.
in an abundance here, and there are a lot of good questions.
Cool.
So, yeah,
Okay, I'll try and get through this one really quickly. Thank you so much, Lizzie. I would say start off really small, like genuinely go to gigs that you really enjoy. If you see the same person over and over, like respectfully, like introduce yourself. Try and become friends with them respectfully again. And then, I guess you could bond on music and then tell them that you're a musician. Send them your stuff. Your music does have to be publicly available for them to listen to it. So that's probably the first step. And then build a community. Find out, get some feedback. You could go to your local radio station and build a community that way. I'm trying to think of other ways to build community, but build community on a small level, so much that when it comes to the time where you think you might perform, and it doesn't have to be at a live music venue, it can be in someone's living room, at least you'll have 2 or 3 people there, and then maybe in a year's time, it might be like 10 to 15, like just kind of grow that audience. I think one of the big things with Triple J Unearthed is sometimes not all music is radio friendly. However, there is an argument to make when we can see that this certain sound is resonating, or this certain artist is resonating with listeners and the audience. And that is also another reason why we would play that song, even though it might not sound great on air. I'm trying to think of other ways. Finding your target audience. When you kind of jump onto streaming services, if you do manage to get some listeners, which is amazing, and congrats to you because it's really hard, you can actually you can get some metadata based on who is listening and where. And I'm trying to think of who. Nia Archives, UK artist. She just came to Australia. She played at Laneway, did a couple other side shows. Her third biggest listener, I think second biggest listenership is in Melbourne, of all places, which is really random, and it also explains why she came over here and did a couple of shows. Things like that also motivate. I know Near Archives is big, but just using that as an example, that you can use Spotify, which can motivate you to go to Wollongong because you find out that 15 people, well, I don't know, are listening to you there. I'm making this up. Not all of it up, but like that bit up.
Awesome. What does GyroStream think about that in terms of helping artists find their target audience? Or moreover, actually, Alyssa also asked a really good question here, which I want to kind of bring into that as well. Like, what are the qualities you guys are looking out for? Or what is it that makes someone's song radio worthy? What is it? What do they have to present for them to be, for you to provide them the service you were giving?
Wow, it's a bit of a three-pronged question, I feel. So maybe I'll start at the beginning. In terms of listenership, I actually really love about my job that sure I can sort of select some music that we're taking to the streaming platforms, but at the end of the day, I'm not actually the taste maker. And I actually really love that. It takes the pressure off me. I just get to show all the streaming platforms this beautiful batch of amazing, diverse music and say, here you go, you choose. You tell me what you like. And I actually really enjoy that aspect. But the things that we look for in the playlist pitching application forms, because anyone can apply, are things like, one, how does your song sound? Which is obviously a really fun job, listening to that music. That's all from you. But we also look at what have you been up to? And that's not to say that we wouldn't pitch an artist that it's your debut single. Sometimes something can be so impressive and you've been sort of working away in the background and you have a really great identity or some sort of theme or aesthetic that you're working with. But we do like to look at, like I've keep been saying, who you're sort of surrounding yourself with. Are you supporting shows? Have you played any festivals? Are you working on some special activation in your city with a couple of artists and coming together? Have you been played on community radio? Definitely do not discredit community radio if you're not at the Triple J stage or don't fit into that sort of sound. All sorts of different things. We look at what you've been up to, and really importantly, we look at what your plan is. So many artists come to us with one song and that's all they've thought about. And that's great. That might be the best song in the whole world. But the streaming platforms in particular like to know that something else is coming. And we seem to think they're more inclined to support artists and projects that they know the artist isn't just going to drop one track and then disappear forever. They're not a one-hit wonder. So we love to see if there's more music that you have prepared, if you have upcoming shows, what your plans are after this one. So they're all things you can bring to the table.
Awesome. I want to sort of take it back to what we discussed earlier as well with the actual steps to releasing the music. And I'm going to slightly direct this to Cam, but feel free to add in as well. What are the general steps to releasing music as an independent artist? And could you give us a little checklist? And this question is shout out Alyssa, wherever you are.
What would you say the first step is?
Write a song.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. So make the song. Like I said before, like when we're making the songs, that we are factoring in who we're wanting to hear it and kind of tailoring it to be that way. But yeah, I guess once you've got the song, next step would be getting all your supporting assets. So your cover arts, writing all your lyrics out, even small things like uploading your lyrics on Genius so that it's online.
And Music Match too. Music's Match. There's two external providers that you upload your lyrics to that link up with those streaming platforms. Sure can. Do you want to go? Genius.com, which is spelt how it sounds. And the second one is Music's Match. Sorry, MUSIXMATCH. And they'll link up with like Apple lyrics, your Spotify lyrics that you see, Instagram stories as well. If you put a song up, you actually have to have loaded in your lyrics for them to play on the screen.
Cool. And then what else would you get ready? I personally always ask that the artists have a visualizer. So YouTube being one of the biggest music streaming platforms globally, it's very surprising how many artists don't actually have a YouTube channel. Doing a simple visualizer could literally just be a photo of you, or you get a little bit more creative and just put your phone somewhere and just sit in front of it and then just like look around the room for 3 minutes. Like you'll be surprised how many artists have achieved really big growth from just doing those videos. Once we've got all the assets, then loading it into your distributor, setting up all your credits, making sure that everyone's got their correct splits and all of that stuff discussed beforehand, and try not do it afterwards because it could get messy sometimes when a song blows up. registering your music on APRA as well, so having an APRA account, yeah, and then start promoting. So like the biggest thing that I will always factor in before we release a song is understanding what the release plan is going to look like and what the promotion plan is going to look like. We don't want to release something without really trying to push it in front of people and get some hype around it, because there are tens of thousands of artists in Australia releasing music, and trying to cut through the noise is very, very hard. So doing a lot of promo, and that promo could be things like we said with Keenan T, he's doing like 4 TikToks a day sometimes. But then for other artists, they will do a release show, and they'll do like 4 days before the song comes out, they'll hold a show at the Workers Club. It's a free venue. You can pretty much just put on a show, get all your friends down, and just even that alone is enough. If you were to share to a distributor, or what we would discuss with the likes of Spotify and YouTube is that, hey, this artist is doing a headline show, they're really trying to get people around it, and those are those things that start making people kind of look and listen. And then the song comes out. Did I miss one?
Uploading to Unearthed, Triple J Unearthed, uploading through the back end of all your community radio platforms. But yeah, you did say absolutely, just your pre-promo, everything. There's a checklist itself that sort of falls into that that timeline.
We didn't really talk about release, like recording the song. Is everyone already recording songs now? Like, okay, well, you guys are like 9 steps ahead of when I was younger making music. I guess we don't have to talk about that then. But for people who don't, like, who are literally like at the very bare basics of just written a song, I would say when it comes to like recording and getting your song like mixed and mastered, I would recommend looking at your favorite local artists again who have music that like it's to your taste, going into discogs.com or is .org, I can't remember, or Bandcamp, and like literally going down and searching like who mixed and who mastered their stuff, and like then going into their Instagram and seeing what other work they're doing and finding more people. Like that's genuinely how I find music. Even though I work at Unearthed, that's like how I find new people and go, well, we need to get this person on Unearthed. Yeah, and like you can create, throughout everything that we've just said, create a demand if you can with the way that when you're starting out. If you've got a really good song, kind of like tease that, stretch it out. That's all my tips. I reckon I'm out.
Sorry, just on that.
Yeah.
The best thing that you can do is find out who other people that you look up to are working with. Like that, we still do it now with so many artists, and the biggest artists in the world still do it. When you look at who wrote Justin Bieber's song, it's pretty much the same people that wrote Ariana Grande songs. You can do that at a small level, especially here in Melbourne. There are so many crazy producers, mix master engineers, even songwriters. But yeah, it just comes down to finding those other artists that you kind of look up to. Try and keep it like in a reasonable reach, because once you start looking too high, then their people they work with cost like heaps of money.
Yeah.
But if you keep it local and just keep working with more people, what I've seen a lot of is songwriters and artists working with the exact same producers and the same songwriters usually get the same results. But once you start branching out, you start allowing yourself to learn a whole lot more and finding different lanes. We've had a couple of artists that are performing extremely well globally, and their first few songs were a completely different genre. But it took them to work with a producer that they would never work with to be like, oh shit, this is my sound, and then start going down that lane.
That was also my other tip that I forgot to bring up. Collaborations. They're like the best. It's just the only way, not the only way, but it's like the best way that you can learn so many different skills. You can learn patience and resilience as well.
And if your collaboration gets to the stage that you actually want to put that music out, from a streaming side of things, if you're both the artists listed on that release, you're going to target that artist's audience as well. So it's definitely a streaming strategy as well to put out music with artists maybe that are slightly more experienced than you or have a bit of a greater following, because you're going to, land yourself in that market as well.
I have one last thing to say. I was just going to say everything we've just said ties into the whole community thing that I mentioned earlier. Like you find your community because you're working with other artists and you meet other people. And if you're really introverted, that's completely fair. You can do it online now. Like genuinely, you can meet people by messaging them on Bandcamp.
That was like you already like you took the questions out of my
Oh,
head. Like,
sorry.
that was amazing because I was literally gonna ask like collaboration is such an amazing tool, especially in our local.
We can talk about it more.
Yeah, please. I'd love to dive into that because
What was your question?
I mean, it was just generally touching on how the importance of collaborations, especially in the local NAR music scene and in general as well, the Australian music scene, and because seeing the music that's out there, like you said, Molly, it brings two different. It can not necessarily maybe the audience is the same, but it can unite two different audiences and expand the artist's reach, which is amazing to see. But I'm getting bombarded with some amazing questions from the audience. You guys are doing a great job, by the way. Give a round of applause to yourself, please. Like these are some really good questions. Anonymous asks, "What's the best way to reach out to the industry contacts? Example: agencies, producers, radio show hosts. So where can we find these people?"
For producers and songwriters, just hit them on IG. Like even I'm still hitting people and be like, hey bro, I'm gonna do a session with this guy. And then even with some of the artists, like just a lot of the time, most songwriters and producers will respond to you. They will look at your socials and stuff. So just make sure, if you're trying to hit someone up, being like, hey, I want you to produce a song for me, but your account doesn't really look like you're an artist, then kind of factor that in. But it's pretty much just reach out, and however that is. So I'll personally hit people on IG DMs, or I'll hit their email in their bio. And if I can't find their email in their bio, I'll go to YouTube because almost everyone has a YouTube in their an email in their YouTube bio. And then if I can't find them, then I'll move on and find the next person. But it's pretty much as easy as that for producers and writers.
Okay. Hello, Anon, whoever you are. So I'll just talk to Triple J maybe and Unearth because there's so many other ways you can do it. Maybe Molly can go into other bits and pieces. But on the Triple J Unearth website, there's like the homepage, and then you go into the reviews page, which is like where Triple J presenters and staff members like myself, because I'm a producer, we will review your songs. And if you go onto the reviews page, you can see like all the staff members' names. And there's like a formula you can use to email anyone at the ABC. It's like last name dot surname at abc.net.au. So I'll use like my name. My name's Sarah Gladys. Gladys is my last name. Very confusing one. I'll leave it somewhere if you want to email me. But my email is going to is gladys.sarah@abc.net.au. Like net, like NET. And you can email staff members to say, hey, if you know they're a presenter, by sleuthing onto the Triple J website and figuring out who the presenters are and listening to their show, or Double J as well. You can find out what their first and last name is, contact them, do the kind of similar, formalities that I mentioned earlier. Hey, I'm so-and-so, my music's about XYZ, it's about, the story behind it is this. Here it is, quick link. We might not reply to you, but we might play it. Sometimes I go through 150 emails a day and I can't reply to all of them, but I'll play it and then I'll come back to them later and say, hey, just letting you know I'm playing this tomorrow. Because that's just probably the easiest way I can do it. Okay, I'm done.
I just want to emphasize what both Cam and Sarah said. I think if you're wanting to collaborate with someone, make a creative project with them, Instagram or hitting them up on Messenger or whatever it is so the best way forward and totally respectful. But I think if you're hitting up a more industry, PR, distro, booking agent, email's probably best. Just because of what Sarah said, she gets hundreds of emails every day. And I think you'll notice in some of the Triple J presenters' Instagram bios in particular, they say, please don't DM, shoot me an email. Just otherwise things get lost. And, I think so many people that do work in the industry side of things, championing independent artists, hustling as hard as they can to really support everyone and give them a platform. But I think if you keep it to their emails, it makes things a bit easier for them as well.
And maybe prepare yourself for rejection. I know that sounds really harsh, but like I said, I might play your song, but I won't reply to you. And I might play it months later. I did a country hour a few weeks or a month ago. and I had been banking up a whole list of songs just for this special, but I couldn't contact everyone until I was sure that I was going to put them on the radio. So like I saved a song from like a year ago. So there's like little bits and pieces like that. Like it's not actually might not be you, it's the ecosystem that we're in. Yeah, just prepare for rejection.
More to add.
Yeah,
Well,
go for it.
I think
Go, son.
in this case as well, these people that you're hitting up might not have capacity to get back to all of you, and it's so nice, Sarah, that you went back and told everyone that you had played them. But I think even for like from a playlist pitching point of view, sometimes we just can't get back to everyone. So I think it's really important for artists to do their own sort of like research down the track as well to check if it got played on radio, because I'm sure that some of the other presenters don't tell every single artist ever that they've played them. So there's a couple of websites that you can look for radio play. There's on your Spotify and Apple profiles, even if you're not in the back end, if you click on a song on your Spotify or Apple or whatever platform you're on, down the bottom it will say featured on, and it will show any of the editorial playlists in particular that you might have landed on. So if you know that a company or an organisation or just an individual is playlist pitching for you, or you've hit them up for radio, it's probably worth going back a few weeks or months down the track and just looking for your own results there in case they just haven't let you know.
Fair. Something I did want to touch on as well, I think we briefly mentioned it previously, I think Cam might have, but live music, gigs, events, how can artists sort of start approaching that and, you know, put themselves in a position where, you know, they can do performances at venues, how to reach out to the venues, and, you know, find which venues are actually going to cater to them?
Probably comes back down to that same thing of looking at the artists that you're kind of looking up to, or in the same world as in terms of like audience and stuff. Just looking at where they do shows. Like when we're picking out venues to do some of our tours and stuff, we just look at a whole bunch of other artists and be like, oh, they did those shows. Sweet, that narrows it down. We'll just hit all those venues. In Melbourne especially, you got places like the Workers Club, which I'm pretty sure is for free. The Gasometer, I'm pretty sure that's like a few dollars off the tickets. You just need a few months in advance, I know, for a lot of these venues, but you literally just contact them. They will want to see that you've got some type of following in some scenario, because they do need to put their bar stuff on, they do need to have security, so they just want to see that at least there's some interest in your show. That's kind of the first thing for me is finding the venue. Once you've got the venue, it's all about marketing the show. So the same thing as your release, marketing that. You want to be pushing your show and getting people to come down to it, even if it's just friends and family. Like we've done plenty of shows in Melbourne that are like 80 people and 70 of them are friends and family. And then the other 10 are like just my mates. And like that's still a crowd of people that you get to perform in front of, because as an artist, the biggest kind of growth, well, a big way that you do grow is by performing on stage, no matter who those people are. And a lot of artists will say that it's a lot harder to play in front of 50 people than it is to play in 5,000 people. So just getting that ground level stuff and doing local shows are a huge way to just grow as an artist and also build fan bases, because a lot of people love to say, like, I was the first person. Like, there was a Kendrick Lamar show that I went to in 2012 in New Zealand. There was like maybe 30 people there, and the tickets were like $5, and no one went. Every time anyone brings up Kendrick, I always tell them, yeah, bro, I was at his first show. I'm like day one. But like people love being part of that kind of story and finding, you know, just finding new emerging artists. Yeah.
Honestly, sorry, you have something to say? I can vouch for that, 100%. Especially more intimate performances, you know, a smaller audience, you can actually enjoy and consume fully like what the artist is actually putting out. One of the best examples was the recent gig I went to. I don't know if you guys might know, but Molly Jose, amazing performer, and I was starstruck because it was maybe a room of like 40, 50 people, because I think it was the Gasso. I'm not sure, but small venue, you know, there's not a lot of room there, but the performance was unlike anything else. So yeah, sorry, you want to add something?
I do, but I kind of remembered now. It kind of depends on what kind of music you're making, and you kind of want to, you don't want to fit the mold of what already exists, but you kind of want to like make it your own. So, for example, if you are a band who has like a house that's available and you already have house parties, start having like, I don't know, band house parties that are like, if you're a DJ, having mixes at that house, make it a big party that people go to, and then eventually move to a venue because it got too big and then you had to start selling tickets. Like do little things like that. I think it's illegal to sell tickets to a house party, but like I don't know, people. I'm not going to say anything about that. I don't want to get in trouble. And I had like another point to that. Like just try and be really inventive. Find those free nights across Victoria where you can play for free. I remember going to a King Gizzard and the Wizard show when I was like younger. I'm talking like a decade ago, and they played maybe even like almost 15 years ago, and they played at the Grey Starling and like or Open Bar, which are these in a North Melbourne like venues, and like we were like one of 10 people there, like tiny like crew of people there, and we had heard a song from a friend, and that's how they'd started to build their community. I'm trying to think of where else, like tiny venues or emailing or like reaching out to artists you really like before they go on tour and say, hey, this is my music, I'd love to like support your next gig, that kind of stuff. I'm trying to think of other ways. I'm just kind of like riffing off here, like other ways you could do it.
Just
There's
on
so many different ways.
the touring stuff, that's a really good kind of way to move into the live scene.
Yeah.
It's just as soon as a tour is announced, just hit up the artist. Find out at the bottom of most tour posters are the logo of the agency that's touring them. In Australia, there's only really like 4 agencies that are actually touring people nationally. There are more, but there's about 4 that you just jump on their website, scroll to the bottom of the page, hit the contact button, and just send them your EPK and say, hey, I'd love to open for the Melbourne show. I'm happy to do it for free. If you're happy to do it for free, I've got a 2-piece band or I've got tracks. Pretty much sell them the whole idea in that one shot, and you'll be surprised how many people are just like, oh, cool, sweet. Like a lot of our shows that we've done, people have hit us up and been like, hey, we'd love to come open for your show. Sweet, that saves me trying to find someone. Cool, yeah, bro, you got it. And then that's, in some cases, as simple as that.
Yeah.
Is that a question?
Ooh.
Yeah, sorry, just on that point, is that the promoter or the booking agent?
Usually the booking agent. Yeah, it depends how big the show is. Majority of the times, if the show is fairly small, the promoter and the booking agent's the same person.
I just thought of something. You know how I'm telling you to email everyone all the time? Also, like, don't pester someone in an email. Don't send them an email every 2 days. Give them a gentle nudge, as I like to say. They may have forgotten your email and just be, hey, gentle nudge. I have chronic fatigue, so sometimes I take weeks off work because I get really sick. And some people like genuinely harass me, and I do get back to them, but I will remember that experience. Yeah.
She did not forget that. She will not forget it. So be kind.
I won't, like, I'm still like quite like bureaucratic. I will still play your music, but I will remember the experience. Like, it sounds like I'm not going to play you guys. Oh my god.
Sounds like one of those RPG games where you make a decision and it's like, they will remember this. This will come into effect when you try to email them next
I do
time.
think reputation comes into play. Like, when you end up supporting that that act that you got to support, don't be a dickhead in the green room. Like, don't trash the place. They'll remember that. Like, there's a reputation to uphold when you're trying to be serious about this kind of stuff. And like, getting one of those gigs is sometimes like winning the lottery, genuinely. So that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to keep rambling otherwise.
No, thank you for that. But we are sort of nearing the end of this panel, and I think I'll pop down to you guys one by one. You can, whoever feels comfortable to start first. It's just, if everyone in the audience was to take one thing home, or one idea, or one key piece of knowledge home with them, what would that be?
I'll start if you'd like. Tell me if I've already said this, because Robert was asking me some questions before on the camera, so I said it then and I can't remember if I've said it here. But my number one tip or piece of advice for independent artists is get all of your ducks in a row. Have I said this? Okay. So yeah, like I was saying before, in terms of like playlist pitching and getting yourself in front of radio presenters or whatever it is that your goal is that you're trying to achieve, so many times I've experienced artists just rushing into it, especially coming from having a music degree myself. I remember when I was at QUT, we all just wanted to get our debut single out there. So many of us had no experience, no visuals that we'd thought out, no accolades that we could take to the presenters or the streaming platforms, and everyone just wanted to get something out. But what I like to think of is, if people don't know you yet, they're actually not waiting for anything. But once you've started putting something out, they might be waiting for the next thing. Who knows how it's going to take off or what's going to happen. So on a larger scale, I think, decide what you're going to do, get a few singles in the bank. Maybe you've got a whole EP or album worth of work, but you don't need to put something out until you're absolutely ready to do so. And then on the smaller scale, even in that one release strategy, make sure you have all of those deliverables and assets that we talked about before. Make sure you've thought about not just your pre-save campaign, but once your track's out there, how are you going to keep putting it in front of people? So many people drop it on release day and then they never talk about it again. But you've got a few weeks after that song's out there to still get it in front of existing audiences and new audiences. So get your ducks in a row. Don't rush into it. You have time.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was large.
No, definitely. All of that, for sure. I think from me, and I said it before, is you have to understand who your audience is. If you don't understand that, then you don't know who you're marketing it to. And if it doesn't do well, you have to kind of look back at yourself and be like, well, it didn't do well because I didn't know who I was trying to sell it to. So it's looking at your music and understanding you as an artist. And your audience right now might be different to 12 months from now. But when you have your song and you're about to release it and you're putting out your whole pre-strategy, your post-strategy, doing your visuals, I'll always look back and stand back and look at the music and be like, cool, the audience that I'm hoping to land with this music and or this artist is a demographic in this age group living in roughly these countries that are into music that's similar to this artist, and this artist. Then I'll go to those 3 artist pages and just look at their whole aesthetic. Like, we had an artist that we were trying to push in the same world as a New Zealand artist called Benny, and she's like that real like cool indie kind of alt pop world. So we just like didn't copy what she did, but we pretty much did. Like, we knew that her audience receives her well, and the other artists that are in that lane also have a similar look and feel as Benny. So sweet, we'll make sure this artist is in that same lane of just the whole vibe. So she's still her own artist and still herself. We just make sure that when it's delivered to the audience, it's delivered in a way that they are already kind of used to, and it's not something crazy different to what they're expecting for that type of sound. So that, from experience over the years, definitely is a huge game changer. When you understand who you're selling your music to and who you're marketing to and who you're wanting to be your fans in 2 years' time and come to your shows, if you can really try and focus on who that is going to be, then all of your marketing and all your promo and everything like that, even down to writing the songs, is going to factor into that. And, you know, providing the music's good, you should see really huge growth from that. So, yeah, understanding who you're targeting.
Whoa, oh my God. These are great tips, and I think you should take them into consideration. Oh my God. My tip is like so funny. It's like, take everything the industry says with a grain of salt. like, like genuinely, like what what both said are fair points. I think they're the points that you should take away. And I think, I just don't want people to go home and like live by everything that you hear at every single panel as like the ride or die of how you're meant to be releasing your music or how you're meant to be approaching it. But like really holistically, like make sure it aligns with the identity that you're trying to create with this artist that you've made, and the music. I think from my perspective at Triple J, like the music will always carry you, and just seeing that you're going to continue making more and more music, so we can, you know, elongate that relationship. But yeah, I don't know. It's a hard one. I've just seen like people do really well not having touched the music industry, and then again, like you mentioned earlier, how like sometimes people really need a lot of help from the industry. It just really varies. It's hard. It's really hard to tell at this early stage, I'd say. That's why I said take it with a grain of salt. Yeah, I don't know.
I like like that, Sarah. And I think we've all been telling you to find your audience and make sure you find
Yeah.
this person in the industry, but also just be yourself. Because if there's one thing that the industry is going to recognize is if your project or your identity doesn't actually sort of align with you or feel right. You know, I feel like that sort of carries through. And I know that some people have a project like an alter ego, an identity that's not quite who they are Monday to Friday, but I still think it has to have that bit of, you know, your personality or whatever it is in you that you really want to share with the world. And yeah, people can really tell someone that's like true to themselves and really believes in that identity.
And do that research and finding your audience that you guys have mentioned. I think that's really strong. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess like what Molly was saying, like end of the day, naturally you gravitate towards people that are good people, are genuine, give you good vibes, and that usually means that they're very true and real people. In music, it's pretty much exactly the same. Like if you, apart from some artists where they do have the whole alias thing going on, but for most people, as soon as they drop the act and they start being themselves and start putting just the stories they want to tell out, that usually becomes the thing that people gravitate towards, because it's like, yo, this is a person telling a real story. I can understand exactly how they are and who they are, and they remind me of me. And then that's what starts really allowing them to kind of get closer and become a fan and get invested in that artist's whole story.
Awesome. Did you guys enjoy that one? Let's go. Come on. Let me hear a round of applause. Thank you to Sarah. Thank you to Cam. Thank you to Molly once again for being here. Really appreciate your time. Thank you to the Push as well for organizing this, and shout out to the Melbourne Arts Center for letting us borrow this wonderful venue to host you guys today. And yeah,
Thanks for turning up.
Indeed. Thank you guys for being here in the first place. Without you, this doesn't happen. And I hope this has been most beneficial for you. Yeah, stick around. We've got a performance from Lily Violet coming up, and just stay around. Connect, human connection, talk, enjoy. Snack. Oh, rolled, guys, rolled. I spoiled it for you, but we have rolled. Thank you guys once again.
Yes, come on. We'll like stand off to the side and
Sorry, boss. Oh, I'm gonna have a wet bum.
wet.
Wet bum. Doesn't mean you're lonely. No, blue.
No.
She, anxiety.
No, blue. Doesn't mean you're lonely.
Doesn't mean you're lonely. She, blue, anxiety. No, we
check. Check, check.
You can use this one. You want the special one?
Oh, you're good. You're good. Oh my God! It's guys. It's bedazzled. Is this your trademark now? Awesome. Awesome. Everybody, can I get a second of attention? Whoop 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 whoop. You were supposed to get. Hey guys, just gonna quickly put this out there. The crowd there, trying to get your attention. Trying to get your attention. You're being hypnotized. You're being hypnotized. You're gonna pay attention here. Ooh, see, he gets it. He gets it. He gets it. Awesome. Anyways, Lily here is going to be performing for you guys. Please, a round of applause, and I hope you guys enjoy because I was here for the sound check, and these guys together, they sound beautiful. All right.
Oh, you flirt.
It's stop. Why are you looking at me like that? But yes, enjoy, guys.
Hi. Thank you for that lovely intro and hitting on my boyfriend. Hi everyone, I'm Lily Violet and this is Hamish. And we're going to be playing some songs for you. The first one is actually, we were talking about debut singles before with the panel. And this is my debut that I released in the middle of a lockdown. This is Doesn't Mean You're Lonely. Enjoy. In this world, we've all gotta try. Sometimes we can get out of bed and some days we can't. Every time the voices hold us back. As long as you keep going, I know you can. This world is full of, but I know you're alright. I believe that you can get through this. Even when you wanna give up your fight. Just try and try and try and try again. As long as you keep going. Just because you're alone doesn't mean you're lonely. I am around. If you need to tell me, I would listen 'cause you weren't good enough. But it's okay to be. Just you're alone doesn't mean you're lonely. I am around. If you need to tell me anything at all. If you need to tell me anything at all. It's okay not to be.
Thank you.
So for most of you, tomorrow is Friday. But for me, tomorrow is a day I've been sending a lot of emails about and doing a lot of photo shoots for. I'm releasing my next single tomorrow. And I guess we should play it for you. It's a lot more angry, so you're going to have to listen to it. The actual recording is quite... But I thought I would also just do a language warning. There is the F word in this song. Fuck.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know. All right,
Too
this
much.
is Blue. I guess you're all caught up with how we ended it. out the room. You make me feel blue, so I'll paint over you.
Thank you.
So, as I said beforehand, that was Blue. That is out in how many hours? Ooh, 4 hours and 42. Nope, that was maths wrong. 32 minutes, I think.
So much better with a full band.
It is so much. And there's a music video coming out at 6 p.m. tomorrow night too, which is really exciting. I get covered in paint and glitter. This next track is the last one that Hamish will join us on stage, and then I'll give you one solo. This is She. This is my little gay anthem, I say.
Gay anthem?
Yes, you are my boyfriend, but this is my gay anthem.
Nothing wrong with that. Bi people exist. Right.
Love you.
Can you give me a count?
She ripped my soul out, set it on fire. She took my heart, it's all a lie. What can I say? It's the way she moves. What can I do? She's taking control. And I can't stay. I can't leave her alone. 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 When she looks me in the eyes, I can't look away. When she holds my hand, I think I'll stay. I'm so confused, I don't know what to do. She's got me wrapped up in a web. She ripped my soul out, set it on fire. She took my heart, it's all a lie. What can I say? It's the way she moves. What can I do? She's taking control. And I can't stay. I can't leave her alone. I can't stay. I can't leave her alone. I can't stay. I can't leave her alone. I can't stay. I don't know what to do. She pushes me away. Empty echoes of the room. I don't know what to say. She ripped my soul out, set it on fire. She took my whole heart, it's all a lie. What can I say?
Thank you.
Now Hamish and I are going to swap instruments on 4. I love having someone to accompany me, but there is one song that I play that I require to play on my own because I love playing it. Oh, actually, this shirt is very slippery. Can you hold that for a second?
Yeah, take it off. Let's
it
go.
off.
Change the vibe of the show completely.
Yeah. Now it's all tats and Kmart t-shirts. How's everyone's night been going? Yeah? Having fun, having a vibe, having some rolled? I haven't had rolled in so long because I'm very picky with my Vietnamese food. I love my little bakeries.
And we're unhealthy. And this
Hey, we
pizza
get
festival.
Vietnamese, okay? We get Vietnamese. This is our last song for tonight. Thank you to The Push for having us. This has been awesome. I've learned
Thank you so
lots
much.
about releasing music tonight that I didn't already know, and tomorrow is my 4th release. So, you take something no matter where you're at in your career.
Just goes to show you can always learn more.
You always can learn more. Thank you.
So follow Push.
So follow The Push. Follow Lily Violet too. I got to do that plug. This is Anxiety, and I hope it doesn't make you anxious because that would make me anxious. Is he looking at me funny? What are they saying over there? Flip my hair over my shoulder and pretend that I don't care. Wait. What was I saying again? Heart's racing, legs pacing. It's just my anxieties. Please love me, are you gonna leave me? While I'm stuck inside my head and I can't escape. I don't know why I